Good evening, sports fans! Crow back for the win of the Token Minorities, here today with GBA D-League Season 4, Week 5. Now this one is against Iron Flash Gaming, Zazo of the Detroit Butterfrees. Jeez, it says Matty Brawlick on the screen. Jeez, Matty, why are you always interfering in all of my games? I'll never understand it. No, I'm just kidding. Matty's awesome. I recommend you watch his channel as well. But anyway, looking at this game for this week, I know that Zazo is going to bring very big threats. He has quite a few. So there's Mega Diancie on the screen, Slowbro, Zapdos, Garchomp, Heracross, and Blaziken, which is roughly what I expected. That said, I thought maybe Blissey or Crocodile had the possibility of coming, but those were kind of 50-50s to me. I really heavily expected Heracross, Zapdos, Slowbro, and Mega Diancie. The Blaziken was kind of, like I said, it's an interesting choice. I really want to see what he brought here with that. Maybe Garchomp was kind of iffy as well, but more or less, that's what I expected. Now, just as a quick reminder, we got Silvally Grass, which actually does better than Tangrowth this week, even though I have Tangrowth as a Grass type. It's because of Silvally's speed, its coverage, it just hits so much on its team. And if you want to see more specifics about these members of the team, by the way, feel free to check out the Team Builder, which was up yesterday. In addition to Silvally Grass, we've got Alolan Marowak, Weavile, Jolteon, Toxapex, and Tornadus Therian. Overall, I got the same game plan I'm going in with. I need to predict, I need to hit hard, I need to hit generally fast. I've got 4 fast Mons, and I've got 2 momentum stopping Mons. So that is my Volt Switch blocker and Alolan Marowak, and Toxapex also just can stop a lot of momentum he might have with, say, the Blaziken, the Heracross, etc. Now, before I get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to my boy Kaz, who helped build this team this week. I talked about it in the Team Builder. He definitely gave me some pretty neat ideas, many of which were implemented this week. Go check his channel out. His link's in the description below. Given my track record against Zazo and the fact that a lot of people bet against me in this game, my back certainly seems like it's against the wall, but I'm not giving up. Why don't we jump into this game? Alrighty, and while we're waiting for the match to start up, just want to leave you guys a quick reminder that we do have TTM merch. We have Nidokings merch. This includes things like The Office, obviously a lot of Pokemon, Drake and Josh, just a lot of fun shirts and designs. I hope you guys will go check them out. Links will be in the description below. Alright, so for my lead matchup, we've got Silvally Grass. Shiny again. I like the shiny Silvally, that's for sure. Kaz does an awesome job of PK hexing those to be shiny. Now, he leads with the Diancie. I hope he Mega Evolves, because if I do, this Grass Pledge does big boy damage. It still does big boy damage, though, even though he didn't Mega Evolve, and I was a little sad about that. He gets his rocks up. It's unfortunate, but we got a lot of damage off on this thing, so it's really not all that bad. I'm going to see him Mega Evolve. Now, there isn't a first turn Mega rule, just in case you didn't know. It's not a big deal. If I Grass Pledge here, I'd be in great shape. I actually outspeed, so this is slow Diancie. I Parting Shot expecting him to switch, and unfortunately, well, this is two-pronged. I'm not going to get attacked by Mega Diancie here. He has to switch out. But on the other hand, he's going to get to pick what he switches into. So it's probably more bad than good, but these first few plays of mine, they weren't bad, but they weren't probably the best. I probably should have thought them out a little bit better. So this game's starting off kind of iffy, that's for sure. I have to go into my Toxapex, which is my best way to deal with a Blaziken. I see it set up a sub, and I'm thinking, oh no, don't be sub SD or anything crazy like that. Then I see Baton Pass. Okay, you know what? I have Liquidation on this Toxapex this week, and I know it should be able to break a sub for anything, just about anything, because that's why I have it. He brings in the Garchomp. I know I can break a Garchomp sub easily. With Liquidation, my calcs prove it. And then, what? It doesn't break the sub!
It's snapped over the head of Peyton Manning. A flag is down, and the ball's out of the back of the end zone.
Safety.
Unbelievable. He is a bulky Garchomp. He might not even have speed investment. Makes me think he doesn't. I'm going to stay in on this Garchomp, knowing I can live in Earthquake. I need this thing not behind a sub. That is my primary goal here. I just need a Liquidation again. If I can get this thing out of sub range, I know he's going to EQ here. As long as it's out of sub range, Silvally Grass can deal with it. Go for an Ice Beam, something like that. That's why I packed Silvally Grass this week. Because, first of all, it is better than Tangrowth in this matchup, as I mentioned at the beginning, and because it takes Earthquakes from Garchomp. And that's going to really help me out right here, that's for sure. This +2 Earthquake is going to do a huge amount of damage, but we're going to live it pretty well. I mean, Silvally is very bulky. I also calc that damage. I noticed two things. One, obviously, he just switched out, so he's slower than Silvally, which is nice. And the second thing, he doesn't have a ton of offensive investment. If really any, possibly. I go for an Ice Beam, just hoping that he stays in. He does not. But I get a crit on the Heracross. That might have maybe mattered a little bit, but it's not a ginormous thing. But he's not really an offensive Garchomp. I think he's more bulky. That's certainly the impression I've got so far. Now he Mega Horns with this thing, this Heracross, and it does nothing to Toxapex. And if that thing is Choice Scarf, we're going to learn right now, quite possibly. It doesn't appear to be based on the damage. Probably either it's Adamant with Choice Scarf, or it is Jolly with, say, a Bug Plate, or whatever, Insect Plate, or whatever it's called. So I'm going to Toxic on the switch. I'm going to be gutsy and think he's probably not going to stay in. I thought Zapdos was so likely, and I end up hitting that Toxic, and Zapdos has no way to get rid of that. It is going to be a cancer that plagues Zapdos and puts it on a timer. Now here he goes aggressive into Garchomp after switching into Zapdos. This is going to be an interesting scenario. I wanted to go to Jolteon the first time around, so that way I could maybe absorb an electric type attack to get some HP back after the Stealth Rocks. Doesn't work out as well as he goes to Garchomp, but I'm going to set up a sub. I want to psych this thing out. That's my utter goal here, and I see he goes for Poison Jab. You know what? My Jolteon, as you guys saw in the team builder, is bulky. Relatively bulky. Actually, we take a crit, so thank God we subbed there. But it's pretty bulky. I know we can take a couple Poison Jabs. We just can't take an Earthquake. We need him to overpredict. We're going to keep forcing that overprediction. Go for a sub this time, and he's going to EQ. In the back of my mind this whole time, I want to explain. I'm thinking he might be Yachi, based on the way he's staying in on this thing right here. But we have to take that risk. We have to at some point. There is no better time than the present, as we are going to unleash that Hidden Power Ice. Now this is with no boost whatsoever, no Expert Belt, nothing. And that does a nice 52%, let's just say. So that is very bulky Chomp, that's for sure. He's going to Poison Jab, predicting the Silvally Grass or something else. Say, Tornadus Therian. I couldn't believe it. And he gets the poison. Oh, that hurts. But, you know what? With a crit against Heracross, it evens out a little bit, I guess. I mean, it's going to put my Jolteon on a timer. But it's doing good work, and I'm going to make the prediction of the century. Going for Thunderbolt. Aim for the horn. It's going to do damage to Heracross and put it into it KO range.
There's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up. Yes!
Yes. Unbelievable. I can't believe that was probably my gutsiest prediction in a long time. Now, I can't switch out because he has the rocks up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to defog them away, but I'm just going to Thunderbolt to take out the Heracross. Yes! That's a big, big victory. That is one thing that could harass my team, but it's not going to anymore. It is in the graveyard. We banished it to the Shadow Realm. Jolteon is at 2 health, which means it can get one more attack off on something. And you know what? He sends in this Blaziken. I'm going to get a free Thunderbolt off on it. There's no reason not to. He's probably going to set up a sub as I Toxic, but I can't avoid that. My hope was to get him down to red. But he's got one of those berries. He's got the Figgy Berry. I don't know what the difference between that and Iapapa and all those berries. They're probably all the same, but you know what? He gets his health back up, and we're in a little bit of trouble given that he's behind us up. I gotta go to my Tornadus Therian here. That's my first thought, because if he Baton Passes, I can at least do some kind of damage to something. And if he doesn't, we've got the Aerial Ace to take it down. And plus, from this range, we can take a Flare Blitz. I don't think he's going to have Stone Edge, given that he wants Earthquake for Pex, and given that he has Sub and Baton Pass. So we just got to take this Flare Blitz. We should be able to live it. We EV'd it specifically so it can live a Flare Blitz after Rocks, and so it can live a Stone Edge before Rocks as well. And we do on 6. Thank God for that bulk. Thank God. He's going to switch out and go into Zapdos. I predict that and go for the Defog, because that's going to impact the game a lot more. We need to make switch-ins into Alolan Marowak, and that's when it's going to start happening right about now. Now that Jolteon's down, Alolan Marowak is going to come into this game and start to shine. So we do not want to take an electric type attack. I'm going to go into parental number. That is Alolan Marowak going to take a heat wave. And guess what? Alolan Marowak doesn't like your horrible breath, Zapdos. But he doesn't care. You know what? He's already dead. Alolan Marowak is a dead Pokemon with a skull on its head, so he doesn't care. He's going to bowl right through you, that's for sure. So he's going to go for a Shadow Bone, take out that incoming Blaziken, and another Mon is down.
Boom, shakalaka.
Thank God. Things are looking up. I think these predictions that I'm making are very solid here. Overall, since the first few turns where I made a couple of maybe questionable-ish plays, we've really picked our game up. So he's got the Mega Diancie here. I want to go to Pex, because Pex can take any move from this thing. It can use Haze, it can go for Liquidation to KO. He's going to set up those rocks again. It's annoying, I know, but at least we managed to get big damage off with the parental number. That is my Alolan Marowak, prior to them being put back up. So we got to go for that safe Liquidation this time. We don't want to predict too much. He's still on a Toxic Timer, and Liquidation does a decent chunk of damage, not going to lie. If he has Sub for some reason, Toxic is going to really help me here. He's going to try to Roost. I predict that. And I am going to go for a Liquidation. I know that at this high of health, especially from a defensive Zapdos, which is basically what I think he has. That's how he's playing it. I can just wear this thing down and let the Toxic plus the Liquidation deal with it. I gotta switch out at the right time, don't get me wrong, but it's doing really well. I actually got a crit in the last one, which probably mattered a little bit because it enabled him to Roost now rather than later, which will give him an extra turn of Toxic damage and another Liquidation. I do not, however, get any defense drops to this point. We'll see if I do. Now, I know he's going to have to start roosting eventually. He's going to switch out here, goes into Narth. And Narth Vader, shout out to Brother Narth in the Church of Ocean Man. Anyway, so I Liquidation, it does negative 39 damage, nothing at all. So, that's okay though. He's going to just, I speed crept this just in case. I'm going to Toxic, no need to play any funny games here. I'm just going to play it safe, because I know if he switches in Zapdos, he's already Toxic. I can go for Liquidation, I can switch out, I got so much I can do, and guess what? I switch out this time, go into the parental number, as I expect him to Thunderbolt this time and not Roost, because the Toxic counter was just reset. I get that prediction right. Oh, yes! Yes, and now he's under half health. I know Shadow Bone would be able to KO from here, and if he decides he wants to wage a war against Shadow Bone, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so, Zapdos. You're going down. Alright, so I Shadow Bone, and it should take out this Garchomp, right? Right. Nope, it does not. He lives on 1 or 2 or 3 or something crazy like that. Unbelievable. That is a very bulky Chomp to be able to live that. I'm in shock. So I'm going to go to Tornadus Therian basically as fodder, but really hoping he EQs. Unfortunately, he goes for what appears to be a Z Outrage. And Z Outrage is, yeah, definitely going to take out Tornadus Therian. But I don't really need Tornadus Therian all that much here. Now that Blaziken and Heracross are gone, and it got rocks away at least once, it's pretty much done its job. I also know anything faster can take out the Garchomp at this point. And he's also used up his Z-Crystal, so I know what item he has. I can go into Weavile now, which is very safe. He does not have rocks up on his side of the field. I wish I could get them up. It's very tough. I could try, but it's tough. He's going to switch out. I predict this very easily and just go for the knockoff, which I outsped that thing anyways. It was very safe. Knockoff. I knock off the Colbur Berry. Well, I don't actually knock it off. Technically, it activates. But even with the Colbur Berry, that does big damage. So I'm hoping later on I will be able to use that again in order to KO the Slowbro. But he does have Regenerator, got to keep that in mind. He's probably going to switch here, but he actually doesn't. And he goes for Thunder Wave, which misses. That's what I thought. I thought he was probably going to switch, but it's okay. He didn't. He misses the Thunder Wave. Really doesn't matter that much because Pex is extremely slow at this point. So I am going to see the Zapdos come in and try to Toxic again. There was just no reason to over-predict or do any funny business. If I got a Toxic in that Slowbro, the game is pretty much over already. But the game still goes on. He's smart enough to not stay in on that. I'm going to switch into the Parental number again. My Alolan Marowak. He's going to be at lowish health. I'm not the biggest fan. He's going to Roost. That's fine. That was a safe switch in right there. He's going to be at decent health. After Poison, somewhere in the ballpark of 3/4 health. But Shadow Bone should 2-hit KO from here. And he has nothing to hit this thing, clearly. Nothing. And Shadow Bone will destroy the incoming Diancie, especially at that health. And this is why I didn't want to set up rocks, by the way, because he has the Diancie. If he just switched it in, I would have been screwed. I would have put rocks up on my own side of the field. Well, granted, I think I already heard he has them up, but like just as a, it would just be a waste of a turn, is my point, even though I already have them on my side of the field. He's going to Outrage now, because I kept Silvally Grass around, and I guess that switch was definitely in his mind. And thankfully, I did not make that switch this time. I decided to fodder that thing off. I didn't really need it. Zapdos has been very well checked to the point where Weavile deals with it relatively easily. And basically, he's got a few Mons left. He's got 3. And Weavile can deal with all of them. He's locked into Outrage, so there's 0 chance he switches. I can Ice Shard to easily take this thing out and also not activate the Rough Skin. That would be bad, considering I'm Life Orb. Now he goes to Narth Vader again. Brother Narth of the Church of Ocean Man. I'm going to get to hopefully knock off. I mean, I just need this thing to be damaged heavily. And actually, he ends up switching into Zapdos. I'm guessing, predicting the Naphion, the Toxapex that is. That's my nickname for it. And it does big boy damage. Oof, we're in good shape. He's going to switch out again. Go back into the Slowbro. And he's just kind of playing switch shenanigans here. I just knock off again. There was 0 reason not to. And even after losing an item, it is going to 2-hit KO. Weavile is going to win this game. I feel it in my blood. And he's going to live on just a few after Life Orb Recoil. 2 HP. 4 HP. Sorry, I misread that for a second. But here's the Zapdos at that low of health. And Ice Shard is gonna come through. Now Weavile is gonna go down. I know it's unfortunate, but Weavile just got 3 KOs and only 1 death. We win the game 2-0. Unbelievable.